and we probably should have started with this. Everyone has 24 hours a day. And there are really successful people that get the most important things done. The people that are not successful are the people that get the less important things done. That's the deal.
Welcome to the Overlap Podcast, big business tactics for small business success. Dive into the intersections of work, fitness, family, faith, and leadership. We believe growth in one area fuels growth in all. Here's your hosts, Sid Sexton and Keith Kleins.
Okay, and you may have noticed that my intro has been replaced by, well, Tim just thought someone could do it better than us, or something could do it better than us, and he's probably right.
Yeah, I listened to it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, well, I guess it's the way of the world now. We're moving forward.
It's where we're going. Moving forward, embracing technology.
Yes, all the things, and it's probably exactly what we're telling you to do. We're having to deal with it as well. So, don't fight it. Just go with it. That's. I guess that's what we're trying to do today. So hey, how you doing, Keith?
I'm doing good.
You and I have been busy.
We have.
We spent about an hour just catching up.
I know. It just traveling. You traveled this week.
We should have been recording that.
Yeah, we should have. The catch up was funny. We should have gone there.
We might have lost some listeners.
And then I'm getting back in the car in just a minute.
Oh, good. That sounds fun. So today, listen, we kind of planned some of these as being short and some of them being long. I'm not really sure how this is going to work out, so we're just going with it right now.
That's right. Yeah, we don't know if it's a quick hit or not.
But it's something that I've been coaching on quite a bit, and especially here lately, and something that is probably pretty important for everyone in all seasons of life, and a really good reminder, which, by the way, is the purpose of this podcast. You know, we're not trying to wow you with brand new ideas every week. We're just trying to give you freaking practical advice that we're working through or have worked through, and that are really good reminders to how to be better in all aspects of your life, like we say. So today we're talking about how to stop playing defense with your time. And that title is specific because it's really, in sports, in my experience, when you're on defense all the time, it can wear you down. You feel like you're under attack all the time. It's pretty bad.
Sometimes I feel like I'm in a constant game of dodgeball.
A dodgeball, yeah.
I think the analogy of time and dodgeball is because we just allow stuff to get thrown at us through the day, and all we're doing is dodging and ducking.
Yeah. Well,
sometimes I'm there.
Man, that's pretty good. I think about, and no one else is going to get the reference, but like when you train with Jiba, he's always got some sort of attack, and then it goes to the next attack, and then it goes to the next attack. Yeah. And I'm just constantly playing defense. And after about 4 minutes, I'm just so tired. I'm just ready to give up. That's when you're in the middle of the fight, in the week, in the month, in the year, and you're constantly under attack. It wears you down.
Oh yeah. Eventually I just curl up in the fetal position and lay there.
And just try to hold on. Just don't let him submit me somehow, some way.
And don't
move.
Yeah. And then he submits me.
Yeah. Me too. So that was kind of the idea behind that title. You can make another analogy in soccer or football or whatever, tennis even, or pickleball. Someone's on the attack, they're at the net, and they're constantly running you back and forth across the court. You're going to wear out. So
yeah.
So how do we get on offense? And which is the idea here. And I think my first step is you've got to take a step back. If anyone listening to this podcast is familiar with Jocko and 4 laws of leadership, one of the main tenets is prioritize and execute. And that sounds great, right? You're like, oh yeah, I hear that, but what does that really mean? And he tells a pretty good story, and man, I probably learned this and got way into it 7-8 years ago. And you remember. And the biggest part is that he took a step back. Everyone was on like at their guns and looking down the barrel of their guns and looking for targets, and they just stood there for what felt like 10 minutes. It was probably like 30 seconds. And he just raised his gun and took a step back, and then he could see everything and go, oh, we need to go right, or whatever. I'm paraphrasing the whole story. And that's kind of what you've got to do if you feel under attack with your time and all the tasks that you have, is take a step back and take a pretty good overview of what's happening. Then you can make a decision of what's next.
Yeah.
What's most important. Then you can execute.
I kind of did that this year in the publishing company.
Okay.
I think I told you I put some stuff on hold that I needed to put on hold, and didn't launch new things that I was going to, just to be able to kind of assess and look at where it was, what it's doing, what its purpose is, what did I create it for? And I think as entrepreneurs, a lot of time we're hard chargers and we just move forward without thinking about the consequences of what we're doing. And then it causes us time in every way.
Yeah. I also think that I also feel that lots of people think when things are coming at them, they can just put their head down, bite down on their mouthpiece, so to speak, and just push harder. And I don't think that that's a real good solution. Some people can do it. I've got a new work colleague and a guy that I work with, and his motto is more is more. And I'm like, doesn't really resonate with me, but like I know what he's saying is that this guy's got a tremendous capacity to sort of read through and process information really quick and handle tons of tasks, but it's not quite superhuman, but it's more than I'd say most people I've ever met. And there's that sort of idea, and people think that they can just do that, but it ends up blowing up in most people's face.
And most people do not have, including me.
Yeah.
And I'm jealous of supernatural ability.
Yeah, me too.
Superhuman ability.
Yeah.
I'm just human most of the time and just are muddling through.
Yeah, I've always
the best I can.
I've always liked Superman. Yeah, that'd be nice to fly.
It would.
But
it'd be nice to fly.
It's not reasonable.
It'd be nice to be able to see through walls.
It'd be nice to slam dunk a basketball. I'm just saying.
Heck, at my stage now, it'd be nice to touch the net.
Touch the net. Yeah, that is that. So taking a step back, I feel like if we're going to talk about this topic, that's step one, is find a time. If you feel like you're under attack with your time, you've got 1,000 things to do, and you're just constantly getting behind, you've got to do the opposite of what you feel like you should do. You feel like you should just bite down on your mouthpiece and work harder. But what you really need to do is take a step back. And I don't know if that's at get up early in the morning. Is that get up before the day at 4:30 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning or 6:30 in the morning, whatever it is, and then get and assess the tasks that you have to do for that day, and then tell your calendar what you're going to do, prioritize and execute that way. I don't know if it's some other thing like that, but I can tell you that taking a step back is step one, right? Step two, and Keith and I were kind of talking through this. I said this is what I've been coaching on. And let's take an account manager, and we've got account managers. Some have 130 accounts. Some of them have 100. It kind of depends on territory and things like that. Some could have more. They did have more before, but during certain times of the year, they're going to get a higher volume of calls, things look different, things can go bad quicker during the heat of summer. And so they get a flurry of new calls. And if they didn't ramp up to that, it can be pretty tough to sort of shift gears mentally, emotionally, everything to sort of address all those needs. And so what we do is we have kind of a prioritize list. So we've got clients in A, B, and C categories. And we sort of filter those things out, where A's are the ones that are, they buy all the services, or they're the, strategic partner in some way, or, they're just an A client, right? And everyone's got those. This isn't some sort of shocking thing, but just going through the exercise of prioritizing those customers. So when you get an issue, how do we judge where do we go to first? Because I love the idea that we treat every client like family or something like that, some sort of statement along those lines. But the truth is that not everyone can be the same.
Right. I think that that's a great analogy, because sometimes you have clients that are the drunk uncle.
Yeah.
I'm not giving him as much attention.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about the drunk uncle. Yeah.
Yeah. There's always the drunk uncle.
Yeah. There's only one mom, Yeah. Mom's going to get priority in my world. And then there's the dad. There's grandparents. Then there's cousins and nephews and nieces. And people you never met, those kind of things.
Yeah. And then there's second cousins.
And then there's in-laws.
Yeah.
But so we prioritize those. And so I've been coaching like, hey, as you're getting these calls, let's get them on a list. And then when you get a chance to take a step back, whether that's at the end of the day, I like the end of the day, but sometimes that's not feasible. You're trying to rush to get to ball practice or whatever, right? It could just be in the morning. And then the next thing is we prioritize issues in A, B, or C. A being, or 1, 2, 3, really. One's being, they need to be done today or tomorrow, like urgent. Two's being, they could be done in the next 3 days, sometime this week or whatever it is. And then three's being, they need to be done in the next, couple of weeks, low urgency. And so urgent, kind of urgent, not urgent really is 1, 2, 3. And this is really that Dave Ramsey time management deal where you start your day with A1s, steak sauce or whatever he said. And you just go that route, and you've got a prioritized list and it allows your brain and your anxiety levels to drop because you have a plan at that point. But if everything's living in your head, God dang, that is a lot of mental energy you are burning up, spinning in circles. I want to take a moment to talk about someone who's been instrumental in my personal and business success. That's Johnny Barranco and his team at Barranco & Associates. For over 7 years, Johnny has been my go-to accountant and financial consultant. I can tell you that he's more than just a tax preparer. Johnny takes a holistic approach to all my financial dealings, aligning them with my long-term plans and personal lifestyle. I've recommended Johnny to several friends throughout different business groups around the country, and the feedback has been nothing short of exceptional. His expertise and service are top-notch. So if you're looking for someone who not only prepares your taxes, but also helps you strategize for the future, Johnny and his team at Barranco & Associates are the ones to call. Trust me, you won't regret it. So contact Johnny Barranco today and take the first steps towards financial peace.
Hey, let me tell you about a friend of the show called Content Fresh. Since they've taken over our social media for the Overlap podcast, we've seen incredible growth. When you combine the growth from all social platforms, we're looking at a massive increase of 2,235%. This partnership has truly transformed our reach and engagement. If you're passionate about growing your business, partnering with Content Fresh could be a game changer for you. Go to overlaplife.com and click on sponsors today. There's an analogy or something that says, if everything's important, nothing's important. Yeah, if everything's important, nothing's important.
Yeah. We talk about that all the time.
And so would you say that really determining what's important is probably critical to your success?
It's probably most important.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Well, just what I was saying, like, is it an A customer? One.
Yep.
And is it something like mission critical, like it needs to be done soon? Is it an egregious issue, like we broke a window because we threw a rock? That we got to get on today. That can't wait, you know? And we probably need to get over there with a piece of plywood or something and cover up the window. That has to happen.
You had to do that last Friday when you canceled the recording.
Yeah. Well,
we
didn't break a window, but we had an A customer, actually a personal friend. There were some wires cut. Turns out we weren't the ones that did it.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, you even took care of something you didn't cause.
But it didn't matter. You know, they didn't know. We didn't know. You just have to get down there and look. Because it was, you know, it was something that was an A customer. And it was, you know, you could probably say it was a 2. It didn't need to be done that day or the next day, but they were in town. They're not in town all the time. So it sort of ramped it up to a 1 to get by there and just take a look and be able to see them and see me having the response and all of that. So that was the A1. And that's how we prioritize it. And like, just going back to it, just think of all the mental energy you burn up by trying to keep all of the things in your head. And it's just exhausting. And what we're trying to get you to avoid is responding to every fire as if it's a 5-alarm fire when it's just a cat in the tree. You know, you don't need to waste your time, energy, and resources to go get the cat out of the tree if you've got some real fires going on. If you've got nothing else going on, go get the cat out of the tree. You're the fire department. That's fine. Or go unlock go help the little old lady that locked her keys in the car. Did the fire department still do that? I believe
so.
Okay.
I mean, they still get cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But not when there's a fire.
You know the thing that helped me most with this?
What's that?
Well, I think I knew it before I started doing the Michael Hyatt planner, but the top 3 helped me. Formulate that the best. Coming up with the top 3 of the week, top 3 of the day.
Yeah.
And then I felt that even though I don't use the book anymore, but that thought process goes through my mind in any planning. What's my top 3 here?
Yeah. Top 3 initiatives.
How do I prioritize this week? I've got to get these 3 things done. And if I get these 3 things done, you know, it makes me feel good.
Well, and you know what
I feel like I accomplished something.
You know what that really does? It forces you to prioritize, and it forces you to put the things that aren't as important on the back burner. Because everyone will say, well, everything's important. They all got to get done. And I'm like, no, that can't be the truth.
Right.
It's not. It's certainly not every day.
No, and the overlap that's in your life too.
Dude, I was waiting to get there. Go ahead and throw out some overlaps.
Let's see if I mean, everything is not an emergency.
No.
I think a lot of time in family, I almost do this in family way more than I do in business, is I'll make everything an emergency. Oh, we've got all this coming in at us. We've got to take care of it now. But there's certain things that you can just put, you probably need to, priority your wife.
Yes.
That's
it, man. So you're going there. And I think most people don't realize that. I'll just say that again. I feel like the number 1 priority is the wife. Number 1, that's like the most important relationship. If that is messed up, it bleeds into every other aspect of my life.
Definitely so, because it is distracting in every way.
Super distracting. And then 2, if there's kids in the house and they see that the relationship is the priority, they'll see that that's what a marriage is supposed to be like. I'm trying to be the best example of that. And it creates kind of harmony throughout the rest of the house too. It is the most important thing. And then 3, like, God dang it, parents, your kids are not your world. They're not. They're living there for 18 years, hopefully.
And then they're leaving.
And
let's be real honest. The last 2 years they're at the house, they don't even like you anyway.
Yeah, they're in and out. They're trying to be with their friends all the time.
They're trying to be independent, but yet still,
and good God, you're going to have to live with this spouse for the rest of your life, ideally. I mean, we did make some vows about that whole thing.
Yeah, that is a vow.
We did kind of promise in front of God and everybody. And you might want to have a good relationship if it's going to be to eternity and all that. So, man, I just see it all the time that parents get hung up on their kids and they let their kids run them all over the damn place because they're playing 3 sports and they got to be on travel ball this and then this thing there. And
I've already shared my opinion about that. I can't get back on that soapbox.
Me too.
I pissed off some families that I've heard saying that.
I don't care. They need to hear it.
Well, they do. They need to hear their kid can't play.
That's not what I was saying, but you went.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but then date night is not. It's never a priority, because we just don't have time for it. Well, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And we probably should have started with this. Everyone has 24 hours a day, and there are really successful people that get the most important things done. The people that are not successful are the people that get the less important things done. That's the deal.
Yep.
And that's why managing your time is probably the most important skill that you can develop. Because if you want to get ahead in work, in life, in everything else, it is figuring out what's most important and managing your day, your time, your life towards that. That's the deal. Oof. Okay. So we got off.
No, I think that's good. I think when we look at our teams, that's how we prioritize who we give attention to also, is who's being effective.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not always the case, is it?
But the problem is,
yeah,
most of the time we give attention to the people that's causing the squeaky wheel.
The same thing with customers.
Yep.
Same thing with customers. We did some pretty big analysis over the last couple of years, and the people that squawk the most are the ones that pay the least.
Definitely so.
They were the ones on every other week, like maintenance schedules, and that's great. That works for your budget. That's cool. It doesn't work for us because when it rains, not if, because it rains 70 inches a year. Keith, we are like 7 inches above our average rainfall, and 70 inches is our average rainfall per year here in South Alabama. Yeah, so we've got a rain day and a half basically every week. So if it's wild. We're so far this week. It doesn't sound like it's true, but it is. So those customers, we had to strategically get rid of them because they paid the least and they caused the most heartburn. Because, we can't skip them because they're every other week. Well, it's not my problem that you only want to be every other week. You just don't get to be a customer anymore. And that sounds terrible, but like I can't bend myself into a pretzel and have my whole entire organization like move mountains because you want to be a little cheap. And look, that may work for your budget, but it doesn't work for us. And if you're leading an organization, if you're leading a business and you're trying to scale it and make it good for you, your people, and ultimately your customer, because you can't give a good service to all the customers if they want that special schedule, then you got to say no. And that's prioritizing your time, prioritizing your efforts, and eliminating those distractions like we were talking about.
And then in our notes that we have, you mentioned delegating too, comes in there quite a bit.
Yeah, delegation is a good one. Elevate, delegate, which is an EOS kind of, I guess, mantra. That's a whole nother podcast.
It changed. Yeah, it changed. And this is all I'll say about delegation. It changed my world when I prioritized figuring out the things I could delegate.
Yes, that was good. Thank you. That's where we should start.
Most of the time I don't prioritize who to delegate to and what to delegate because I just try to take it all.
Yeah. my early experience has been I tried to delegate the things that I don't like to do, and which we could argue that that's probably the right thing to do at certain times, but not every time, because there are just some things that I have to do. And there's some things that I don't like to do, but I can't delegate them to anyone else, you know?
Yeah, quite frankly, if I could, I would delegate every operational tactic or thing that I have. But I can't do that.
Yeah.
I run this organization.
I'm just not at a scale that I can do that.
Right. But operationally, I hate to delve in there, but I have to.
Yeah.
And actually, the priority of me there, especially right now, of what I'm building, I have to do that.
Yeah. Can't delegate
and so I
that.
need to delegate the things that I may like to do, but are those 1 and 2s, not the pinnacle of what I need to pursue.
Yeah, 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
2s and 3s. And that probably leads us to that value and ease matrix. This is really good. This is something that I've heard like here recently from a guy that is super smart and I hold in very high regard. But and I'm sure this came from like some Six Sigma stuff. But the value ease matrix is like, I believe it's like values on the x-axis, E is on the y-axis, and then you just plot your priorities on this. This is a little bit fancy, but you don't have to make it real fancy. But like, you know, and I would say 1 to 10 is a standard deal. Like it's a 7 value and it's a 3 ease. Well, that's pretty easy. That's you know, you can probably put that as a number 1 priority. And then it could be a 4 or a 3 value and a 7 ease, you know, or hard. You probably go, ooh, that's pretty low value and it's pretty hard to get done. I probably don't need to prioritize that. You know, does that make sense?
It does.
It's a pretty good visual for people. Because the list, I'm probably working through that in my mind visually. I just kind of see those things visually, but others may not. And this is a pretty good visual representation. And I'm, you know, I understand this is a podcast and I'm not up at the whiteboard sort of breaking this out for you, but it's something you can easily look up is a value ease matrix.
I feel like that this value ease matrix is great when you need to communicate to your team what they may need to focus on.
That's a good point.
One of the things that I've struggled with is as the owner or manager or whatever,
lead,
is helping my team prioritize their focus. And I think a lot of times I've lost momentum because I've allowed them to pick the priority of focus a lot of times when I knew the direction they needed to go.
Yeah. That's true. Oh, yeah. It sounds fun. Like, it sounds like that's the thing to do, to let them sort of figure it out or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes it sounds fun to, they're adults.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, they don't know what's in our heads as leaders.
I was going to say, it's not their fault. You know, it sounds like, you know, high level thing to do. Like you said, we're all adults. Let me just give you guardrails and whatever. But their interpretation of what is the difference that's going to make the difference is not right because they just don't have the experience or they haven't seen the full picture. They don't understand some of the nuances that we understand. Not that they're not intelligent, not that anything other than that is just in our mind and in our experience. We know that this is the thing.
Well, and
this is the
we've
direction.
talked about this 100 times, but and I had this conversation with a business founder this morning. Is we often step in and think that our team members that work for us care as much as we do. Yeah. And that they're just not there for a job. And it is totally okay for team members to be there that you've hired to work for your agenda to just be there to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
And not have, we always want people to have initiative. Well, yes, I want you to have initiative to do what I've hired you to do, but asking you to do anything other than that and thinking that my mission is your mission is like stupid.
Well, I would say that's ideal. That's what I want, but it does, like, to your point, it doesn't happen very often. Those are unicorns.
Those are unicorns, and
yeah. In my 22-year experience, I can think of a few.
I would love for
out of 200.
I would love for every idea I come up with for someone to come alongside me and think it's as great as I do.
Yeah. And take the initiative to get it off the ground and get it going.
Yeah. And so it's our job to get it off the ground.
Yeah.
It's our job to delegate the things that we think needs priority and to speak down the line of the priorities, our expectations. Because most of the time I have expectations that are unspoken. And I stay frustrated thinking that someone is going to pick those up.
Yeah. So to that point, I would say the best way to avoid that frustration and the best way to lead, and we've already established that not everyone is going to have the initiative to or the wherewithal to know what is most important. My experience has been EOS and setting up weekly L10s and every single person having some sort of metric or number, which is a lead measurable. That should, and it could be an activity, it could be anything, but that should give people alignment with what is expected from me, because I set the metric, or we set it together, and it gives me a point to coach towards, like, you don't seem to be hitting this, or they are hitting it. And if they're not, then it makes it pretty easy to start to manage that activity to hit that, whatever that metric or that target is. That's been the best for me, because it forces me to get out of my head what it is that I want you to do. And it is to ultimately get here. But in order for you to get to this end result, these are the weekly activities or the metrics, just breaking it down by week for the quarter, 13 weeks in the quarter, 12 weeks in the quarter, whatever it is. And if you hit this week to week, you're going to get to this at the end of that quarter. And if you get to that at the end of that quarter and the next quarter, then we get to the annual goal. I mean, it makes it pretty easy to sort of to lead and manage by those metrics. And it is the best way to communicate to the team what is most important in their world as at playing the position that I need them to play on the team.
And I think also there, you have to have it written down. It's got to be something they can see.
Sure.
And EOS does that well.
My God, they do. With the accountability chart and then the scorecard, weekly L10s. We don't do weekly one-on-ones. We do every other week one-on-ones. Quarterly conversations, you're following up on that. I mean, there's so much communication there that it's really hard to get that wrong.
Yeah.
It does create an environment where it's baked in. If you're a small business owner looking to take your business to the next level, listen up. My good friend Chris Francis has spent over 20 years growing his tree care business to national success. Now he's partnered with Rick Miller, you've probably heard him here on the podcast before, Harvard MBA, and business consultant, to create Roadmap for Growth, an online course to help you scale, build teams, and create systems that last. It's not just for the tree industry. This course applies to any small service business. Check out treebusiness.com or hit the link on the Overlap homepage to learn more.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about my friend Wes Cody. He's the president of C2 Wealth Strategies, a financial advisory firm dedicated to providing personalized solutions for your financial needs. Wes and his team of professionals are passionate about helping clients create wealth and achieve financial freedom. At C2 Wealth Strategies, they believe in taking a holistic approach to financial planning and are committed to building long-lasting relationships with their clients, ensuring their financial well-being every step of the way. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Contact Wes and C2 Wealth today at c2wealth.com to schedule a consultation. Let Wes and his team help you build your financial future. So what are some tactical tools that you implement?
Sunday planning is kind of my thing. I'll do it on I'll do kind of that, like you said, the day-to-day basis is, what are my top 3 today? Those kind of things. And I'll have others, and maybe you get to those others, but at least trying to get the top 3 or at least the top 1, right? And then the next and the next. And then, the discipline that I learned from that Michael Hyatt planner, full focus planner, it was on Sundays, you go through and do the list sweep. And these are all the things that were on the list. Take a little bit of a moment to think of anything else, put it on the list and prioritize it, and then start plugging it into the calendar for the next week or the week after, and just start to fill my calendar with what is most important before the week happens. So I'm kind of telling my time what to do instead of, my time or the fire that pops up telling me what to do.
Yeah, I'm still hot on motion right now.
Yeah, which is time blocking.
It's just automated.
Yeah.
And I like to be told what to do in that situation, and it does that. So I can go in there and put all the priorities in, and it automatically moves it around on my calendar.
How does it know? Do you have to score the priority?
Yes, there's a flag system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like red, yellow.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a flag system. And then it prioritizes that in your day also.
Okay. So that's essentially what we're talking about.
Yeah,
it's just in a...
Yeah,
so
it's just in
that's,
automation.
That's motion?
Yep, motion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's got... It time blocks around your calendar, which is really great.
That's nice.
Yep.
Yeah, time blocking is fantastic. I would say this, since I mentioned, putting things on your schedule, one of the... You can start with that, but one of the big lessons is just learning to put enough time in there, and then also making sure you've got some white space in your calendar.
Yes.
So you can kind of take that call that's important. You can
go work out.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
I've not done a good job of that.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to be in the morning, early.
Yeah.
We're busy.
And you can have too many hobbies like we do and try to do workout, jiu-jitsu.
You've picked up golf.
You're a golfer
now.
I hadn't really picked up golf. It's kind of a necessity for the business world.
Okay.
I have enjoyed playing again, though.
Yeah.
I'll be real honest.
I would love to. I just don't have the time.
Yeah, I don't have the time.
I got to say, I
don't let it get in the way of like jiu-jitsu and working out.
I've got to say no to those things.
Yeah.
I've got to say no to a lot of things. And I think once you start managing your time, you really start to build up the fortitude to say no to some things.
Yeah. And hey, I've been, and this may help somebody. I've been learning something new.
What's that, golf?
I mean, as far as, I've been learning the government nonprofit world, which is way different than anything else I've done.
Yeah.
And so it is a grant writing. It is way different than anything I've done. So it's been fun and taxing and all that kind of stuff.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. I mean, you've said 100 times, you've worked harder than you've ever worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm having a good time.
Okay. Well, good.
I'm just fatter right now.
It's because you're going out to lunches and dinners with people and drinking bourbon.
I know. I went to the Jimmy Russell bourbon event last night.
Yeah, you've got to be a
shout out to Hope Farm. They did an amazing job.
Man, they always do. They always do. And Robert's got a freaking new restaurant called Little Bird.
Oh, I ate there yesterday too.
It's killer
for lunch.
It's fantastic. Yeah. I love that place.
Yeah,
I love everything Robert and Bentley do.
So I hope this helped.
Yeah.
Stop playing defense.
Yeah.
Play offense.
Just play offense.
Take your time back.
Yeah, it sounds rote. It sounds kitschy, but it really is the way to be successful in any aspect of your life. I'll just say this. We we experiment with elevating people through our organization. And there's a number of organizations I could speak to this on. And the folks that end up becoming successful and get to stay or elevate beyond the position that they moved into are the ones that can figure out how to manage their time enough to be productive in the role that they're in. And that's just time management. The ones that cannot, they don't get to stick around there. That's just the truth. They get to move back down or go someplace else. So stop playing defense, start playing offense.
Hey, and a way that you can stop playing defense is you need a good accountant and you need good people.
Oh, yeah.
And you need to take some coaching. And so we have all those that do that on our sponsor page.
What a segue.
Go support them.
What a segue. God.
Hey, call Johnny Barranco. He will save you some time. You can delegate some stuff to him that he wants to do and is an expert at.
I have used him a lot lately. He's great.
I have sent a lot of people to him.
He's great.
In the last month.
So is Wes Cootie.
Yep. Hey,
talk to him.
And
a
if
lot
you need
lately.
a financial plan, there's no better guy that goes than that's got the pulse of everything going on in Washington and stuff about finances. Yeah. I don't know all he does, but I just got a text from him that he was like lobbying in Washington. I think that's important.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be lobbying in Washington, but let's do it.
Whatever.
You're
a lobbyist now.
Let his
You're
team
lobbying for our taxpayer dollars.
Yes, I am. So we appreciate you listening. It's quite humbling that you would listen to us and like stop us in the street and say that you like what we're doing. And so keep doing that. It makes me feel good.
All right. Well, until next time, guys, thanks for listening, and we'll see you later.
Peace.